This comment says that pronouncing words like kitten with a glottal stop is pure laziness. And I'm assuming you're saying that because when you say kitten or mountain, you're not using the hard T, right? You're not giving a t. And to that, I'd say that in English, the glottal stop is actually an allophone, a T, and allophones is when you have a singular sound unit or a phoneme that can be realized in a number of different ways without changing the meaning of the word. And a glottal stop isn't, less effort necessarily. We're not skipping over that sound entirely. We're just actualizing it in a different way. But if you're still with me, I do want to talk a bit more broadly about this idea of laziness, because if we look inward and analyze the way we each use our language, it probably wouldn't take us long to find something that could be classed as lazy. But, I wouldn't say that about you, but maybe you would say that about you? Like, let's take the words of, have, and to. A lot of times, those words get reduced down to really just a vowel, right? Like, you could say a cup of tea or cup of tea. You can say, I want to leave or I want to leave. You can say, we should have one or shoulda won. And you're not always guaranteed to hear a full and, right? You could say in and out, mac and cheese, fish and chips, Jack and Coke. And it's also possible to take a vowel sound just straight up out of a word, right? Like, I personally would say dictionary, but someone from the UK might say
dictionary.
And we don't have to just talk about speech. We could talk about spelling too. Like, it used to be more common for the word email to be spelled with a hyphen. It used to be more common for the word lifestyle to be spelled with a hyphen or just as two words. But as those words became more familiar to the general public, the hyphen kind of fell out, right? And we smushed it together. But maybe you don't do any of the stuff I just mentioned, all right? Fine. But some of your common vocabulary might be the result of historical laziness. Like, it's so many things called jack, right? Like jackhammer, lumberjack, jack of all trades, headphone jack, apple jacks, jack in a deck of cards, right? Like, it's everywhere. And that's because jack was seen as like kind of like a generic name for a regular guy, and that concept got applied to hella shit. So what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that we've been manipulating language to make things easier for us really the whole time, right? Like, you might call certain things out as being lazy, but it's other things that probably fit into that same lazy box that you may not recognize, right? It might be because a word or a phrase is so common. It might be because something is coming from an accent or language variety that you don't deem as being lazy. It might be because of something else. I don't know. Now, I'm only using the word lazy here because that's what was said to me. But normally when analyzing these things, I'm not going to use the word lazy, and I wouldn't encourage you to do that either. But if you find yourself using the word lazy, I think with a little digging, you'll find that we're all lazy in some way. And I wouldn't encourage you to make a hierarchy of laziness, right? It's more like we can appreciate the beauty that has come from this laziness.